Welcome to Section 420, Talkin Yankees, the podcast. Well, will third time be the charm with the Yankees and Aroldis Chapman? News flowing that the Yankees and Chapman might have a reunion there, but it would require a apology from Brian Cashman. This is according to Chapman there. So is that something that's realistic? Is that something we're going to see? Probably not, but I think, it is worth examining, as I think definitely Yankees are going to look to fine-tune the bullpen as, the trade deadline comes up. Again, that's, early August 3rd. And as mentioned before, both here and on the YouTube channel as well, that, the Yankee bullpen, even though I'm okay with it right now, at some point they're going to have to get someone else in there for the ninth inning because Bednar and Duvall with their high ERAs. Again, you like them, but you cannot trust them to close out games in the postseason there. So I'm sure the Yankees are going to be shopping around for a more bona fide closer. And Chapman, over the past few years, got to say, has reestablished himself as an elite closer once again. So the Yankees might be knocking on the door, but will Cashman put his ego and everything aside, as well will Chapman put his ego and everything aside and come on some sort of mutual apologetic thing to have a reunion there? But of course, the Yankees and the Red Sox front office would also have to agree on some sort of trade deal as well there. So a lot worth to consider there. I don't think it's going to happen, but again, a little fun to poke at it. So we'll kind of examine the situation and see what the possibilities are. But before we get started, make sure you subscribe to this audio podcast version of the show, Section 420 Talkin Yankees, wherever you get your favorite podcast. And as I mentioned before, there's also a YouTube channel. Go to YouTube, search for Section 420 Talkin Yankees, subscribe there as well. So I kind of hemmed and hawed on it that the Yankee bullpen as right now, it's okay-ish. I'm okay with Bednar. Again, I like Bednar, but you see the high ERA, and you just cannot be an elite closer and close games out that way. You can't come on and, walk a couple of guys, let a couple of guys out. Yeah, Bednar usually gets out of it in like 95% of the time there. We'll get some big strikeouts with the bases loaded there, but yeah, that's going to come back to bite you at some point. You can't keep doing that. And Duvall, he keeps to be a bit of a mystery. The guy could throw a sink at like 103 miles per hour there, but he has an ERA over 5. So go figure that out. And again, a couple seasons ago, he was somewhat of an elite closer. He always had some of a higher ERA around 3 there, but at the Yankees, we've seen him at some points at 6, 7. It's again, you cannot have that at the back end of the bullpen. Now, if they have a great second half, then maybe you could forget this conversation, but I do feel that the Yankees are going to go out there and get a couple of arms for that back end of the bullpen. Obviously, the whole thing with Jake Bird just seemingly didn't work out as well there. He's kind of been somewhat forgotten about. I think the Yankees would love, ideally, get a close in. Someone like Chapman could be just what the doctor ordered. Obviously, he's a veteran. He's on a team that's going to look to deal him, as the Red Sox dealing with their issues right now. So after recently getting swept by Tampa, they now find themselves 13 and a half games out, and really kind of like the Mets in their situation, just don't see any road or path to sort of get back into this. So they're definitely looking to deal some pieces, and Chapman would be a piece of deal. Obviously, teams are going to want him. Red Sox obviously looking to retool, get some young players there, maybe just for their future. And also they would like to offload the salary he's making right now. Chapman making $13.3 million on his current deal with the Red Sox. So it would make both sense now. Now, would the Red Sox look to deal Chapman to the Yankees within their own division? They're probably not dying to, but also the Yankees and Red Sox have done business in the past. So I don't say it's out of the realm there. And you might say, well, they're rivals and not going to want to help the Yankees. I don't think of that. Fans might want to think of that their way. They're just looking for the best prospects and the best package. So if they could get a good package from the Yankees and the Yankees could take off their salary, fine. What do they care? They're in last place. And, over the last 25, 30 years, the Red Sox have been more of a successful organization, if you want to talk about world championships, than the Yankees. So really, it's not like the Red Sox have anything to prove. And so, I guess if the Red Sox haven't won a World Series in 80 years and the Yankees keep rolling along like they were in the late 90s, and they're like, well, we're not going to just let them get another championship while we're still starting. The Red Sox have had their championships. I don't think the whole ego thing with the organizations, this is going to come back. Who's going to give the Red Sox the best package? And I think that will determine. And again, if you're the Red Sox in the last place, do you really care whether it's the Yankees or the Toronto Blue Jays or Tampa? Probably not. You're in last place and you worry about your own problems there. So I don't think about that. Just getting the right package. But of course, when asked about it, Chapman mentioned, though, that he would consider a reunion with the Yankees again. That would be his third time around. But he would want an apology from Brian Cashman, not liking how things ended in 2022. Well, that's where I gotta say that might have an effect there, because I don't see Cashman apologizing to Aroldis Chapman. And really, in that case, Aroldis Chapman has no leg to stand on, literally, in that situation. Even if you remember that year, that was his final year with the Yankees, struggling mightily. In the middle of the season, decides to get a tattoo. You can't wait till the offseason. You have to get this tattoo in the middle of the season. Gets an infection. Well, obviously, it takes him out for a while, but obviously, you can see it affected his play and maybe pushing off the mound there. Did not have the fastball anymore. Was getting knocked around. Had to rely on breaking pitches. Ended up losing his closer role to Clay Holmes at the time because he couldn't even close games. Couldn't even throw a strike anymore. Basically just throwing sliders. That's all he could do. That's the only pitch he could aim and throw a strike with. And he just was ineffective. And he obviously lost his closer role. Pitched to an ERA of 4.46, and then came the postseason. Now, this was the divisional series. The Yankees drew Houston for the round, and there was going to be a workout, and supposedly Chapman wasn't sure if he was going to be on the postseason or not. There's some mixed signals there, and he figured, well, if I'm not going to be on the postseason roster, why do I have to work out with the team? And he basically blew off a workout, and then from there, Cashman and Boone just decided to dismiss Chapman for the rest of the season. All right, just stay home then. We don't want you here anymore. And that's kind of how things ended with Chapman and the Yankees, so not on a good foot whatsoever there. But if that's the case, Chapman has no way to demand an apology from Brian Cashman on being handled like that. Like, dude, first of all, you let your teammates down by getting a stupid tattoo in the middle. That's like, Ben Roethlisberger, riding a Harley right before the beginning of football season. It's like, all right, well, you can't do that to your team. And again, something stupid like getting a tattoo, which you really need that tattoo. First of all, you're spending most of your days in a baseball uniform. Like, no one can see the tattoo. It's like, you really have to get this leg tattoo. You just can't wait till the season's over a couple of months and then get your stupid tattoo. So Chapman has no standing to demand an apology. And then with that, you blow off a workout. Now, was there some sort of mixed signals between him? Supposedly, instead of going to the workout in Yankee Stadium, he went to Miami to some personal family business, who knows, whatever. Was there some mixed signals that they told him, hey, you could take this leave there since you're not going to be on the postseason roster? Okay, if that's the case, then again, we'd have to look deep into the story. And if Chapman could prove that, he has some text messages or emails that proves that, hey, they told me I could do this, and now why are they mad at me? All right, then that's different. That's mixed signals. But other than that, even if you're not on a postseason roster, you have to go to the workout. That's just baseball 101. So he's the one that's wrong in that situation. Again, wrong for getting the tattoo, wrong for being effective, and then wrong again for missing the workout there before a playoff series there. And maybe something happens. Maybe Clay Holmes gets hit by a bus, and now they need a pitcher on the roster. And even though they're not dying to bring you onto the postseason roster, but they kind of need you because Clay Holmes is not there anymore. All right, maybe they get you back onto the postseason roster. So to miss the workout, there's no excuse. And unless he can produce some sort of evidence or mentioning that he was given some sort of green light to miss this thing and take a personal leave instead, okay, then maybe I'll change my mind. But other than that, he's got no leg to stand on, and I just don't think Cashman, been here for so long, he's just not going to grovel and apologize. As much as he wants to win a World Series and wants to bring every piece in here, I don't think it's an ego thing of just sort of like, if it means a championship, I think Cashman will do it in a second, but he's not going to grovel and apologize in order to do it there. So if they want to have a conversation and just sort of like, well, we agreed to disagree and let's just play baseball and win a championship, maybe that happens. I don't know. We'll just see if the egos could do that. But Cashman's not going to issue a full-out apology just to bring Chapman in here there. So, if you think that's going to happen, he's dreaming there. But again, I'd be open to the idea. Again, I want to win a championship as well. Yeah, I don't like how it ended there. And, is it a good showing? But I don't think Chapman did something like totally egregious. That you would say, okay, look, I just don't want this guy back here in terms of character. It's not like middle of the season decided to start like something crazy, just like sort of punched a teammate in the face, something like that. Obviously missing a team workout's not great, but again, like he was kind of useless anyway. I mean, I don't know if it made a difference. And, if bringing him in here brings a championship to his team, like we kind of need it, I'm all for it. I'm okay looking the other way. But, if he wants Cashman the grovel to bring him back there, I just don't want to see it at that expense there. So we'll see it happens. But, you can't really say, look, Chapman has kind of had a weird relationship. And if anything, he kind of owes Cashman for kind of resurrecting his career. If you remember at the point, he was with the Cincinnati Reds. He had a kind of a domestic situation, which we never really got the full details on, but supposedly like shot a shotgun through a window right next to like his girlfriend. It wasn't like he was going to shoot his girlfriend, but like he took a shot at the window near the girlfriend. Again, this was all down in the Dominican Republic. So again, the details are a little sketchy there. And at this point, Chapman was sort of damaged goods. No one kind of wanted them. So he kind of got involved with a three-way trade between the Cincinnati Reds, Dodgers, and Yankees. Yankees land Chapman here, and they gave Chapman a second life. He kind of was able to resurrect his career. Kind of made him a brand name. And again, you're closing games with the New York Yankees. Now, the 2016 Yankees, as we all know, obviously fell flat a little bit. But at that point, Chapman's stock went way up because again, he looked like he was back and he was in form. And he was closing games for the New York Yankees. But again, the Yankees obviously, once they got, the postseason wasn't looking realistic for them. They kind of revamped the team. They started, trading off and selling off pieces. And one of the pieces they sold off was Aroldis Chapman, sending him to the Cubs at just the right time. And then Chapman's there to win a World Series for the Cubs to break their curse since like 1912 or something. And Chapman was part of that. And he got a ring first time in his career. So if anything, he owes Cashman for kind of making that all happen. And then, of course, after that season, the Yankees liked Chapman. Chapman liked the Yankees. So there was a reunion. That was a 5-year deal with an opt-out after the third year, so Chapman wanted to come back. He wanted to be here. Cashman wanted him back, so things seem good on both sides there. And I'll just say one thing for Chapman for his credit. Now, he did have the opportunity to opt out after his third year. He didn't. I'll say he was still pretty much a top closer. Maybe he lost a little bit of elite level there, but still a top closer. You figure, if he had super numbers, yeah, he would have probably tried to opt out and get a better deal. But he stuck with the Yankees for all 5 years. Now, that last year was not good for the Yankees. It was very rocky for both Chapman and the Yankees. But look, out of the, he could have opted out of the third year, but he wanted to stay in. He wanted to stay a Yankee. So you kind of have to appreciate that a little bit. Even there's some things about Chapman you don't like. He did want to be here. So you kind of have to give him a little credit with there. And then, of course, after that, Chapman ends up with Texas Rangers, again, gets back into form a little bit. And I'm sure a lot of that had to do with that leg infection from the tattoo. Maybe that healed finally. And he was starting to get back to his elite level there. Getting a World Series, his second World Series with the Texas Rangers. So here's Chapman for all his problems now with 2 World Series rings. And then finally goes in Boston last season, has a good year with them, re-signs with them, and as mentioned before, has a $13.3 million deal with a player option for 2027. Now, how it kicks in is that after the season, if he has a season that he throws 40 or more innings, as well as passes a physical after the postseason, then that option for 2027 will kick in at $13 million. Now, if you want to see what Chapman looks at right now, numbers pretty dominant. Now, obviously, Boston not having a great season, so there's not a ton of save opportunities, but where he stands right now, 0-1. Don't really look at the records much when you're a bullpen person, but 0-1 is going to mean anything. But you look at the ERA, in 19.2 innings pitched, his ERA is 0.46. So he's pitched to an ERA under 1, well under 1. And he has 13 saves. So, again, kind of back at his elite status, even at 38 years old. Is he throwing 102 miles per hour anymore? No, but high 90s. And, again, has that funky delivery. And the fact is the lefty there is going to, even if you're going lefty and righty there, it is kind of intimidating. So he still has that top-notch factor there. So he would certainly be an asset to the Yankees, even though at 38 years old. And if you want us to look back at his time with the Yankees, that between 2016 and 2022, again, with a little pit stop there in Chicago. But if you want us to look at his numbers with the Yankees, he did have 146 saves in a Yankee uniform, and it was a 3-time All-Star. So, for the most part, he had success here, and he was good here. And again, I remember that coming out of the bullpen there, especially at Yankee Stadium there, the lights would go down, and there were, the flames going up there. So it was kind of exciting there. I don't know if they'll go back to that full thing there, but it is something worth looking at because this Yankee bullpen, could use something like that. Now, what deal would it take? I don't know. Obviously, again, Boston's looking, obviously, their current young crop of players aren't getting the job done there, so I'm sure they'll be looking for some pieces from the Yankees. I don't know what's going to entail there, but something worth examining. Now, if I had to take a guess at whether this is going to happen, this probably not. Did mention on the YouTube channel, not really here, that the Yankees may be tinkering, bring us Carlos Legrand, bringing him up here at a point, and right now they're grooming him to be a bullpen piece, which is probably what they would, maybe that might be the option for him. So what they're doing right now in AAA, they're having him, even though they would start the season with him as a starter, which again, his numbers weren't that good at all. But if you look at his 102 mile per hour, hey, if you get a guy like this to come out for one inning and just could air it out, maybe if you can throw more than 102 miles per hour there, well, why not? So it's something worth examining. I don't really love the idea, but it seems like that's maybe the route the Yankees go, and obviously that would be the cheaper route. They could keep him. They don't have to take on any more salary, and they don't have to get any more pieces to pick up a person like Chapman there. So looks like they're grooming Carlos Legrand to be at least coming out of the bullpen in high leverage situations in AAA, and then at some point bringing him up here on the major league level and see if he could maybe come out here to whether be an eighth inning guy or even be the closer. But right now it looks like Bednar's still going to have that job. But I just say, again, the Yankees are going to make some sort of upgrade to the bullpen, whether it's in-house with Legrand or going outside for someone like Chapman. If I had to guess at this moment, and if it takes something like an apology, and if like Chapman has to approve the deal, I just don't think Cashman's going to grovel for that. Could they both have some sort of, hey, let's agree to disagree type of thing, let's just win a championship together? Maybe that could happen. We'll see. Again, Chapman's been with the Yankees twice already, so it seems like he does like it here if it's the right scenario. And, it's kind of reminds me of Billy Martin, just getting fired and coming back and getting fired and coming back. That's kind of with Steinbrenner as a manager there. So I don't think it's without the realm of possibility. I just don't think it's likely, but, it's just worth examining. And Chapman, again, he has reestablished himself as a top-notch closer again, and the Yankees kind of need that. At this point, if you had to ask me, I'd rather have Chapman closing a game, for the ninth inning versus Bednar, walking 3 guys and sweat bullets there. Chapman, at least, obviously used to make you sweat a little bit, but at least, he's kind of established himself again there. So, I think Chapman might be just a better closer, and this might be what the Yankees need. And look, you're paying a lot of money right now. You got a lot of players like Judge, and he's 34, going to be 35. Stanton's at the end of the rope. You got Cole at 35, and you got a lot of older players on this, and you're paying money to Rendon. You're paying a lot of money to Max Fried. So kind of have to like do what you got to do to win a championship because it's kind of time there. So will Chapman be the answer? We'll find out. Catch you next time.